Blog Talk Radio.
First World Order Radio, finally, we are on the air. No doubt. All right.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio.
We get on into some of that order consciousness tonight.
First World Order Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
We got to talk about what is taking place on the planet.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio. First, we need to let you know we're going to be doing more shows, giving out more information on Wednesdays. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we are now going to make this the hottest day of the week.
Preceding others in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns and existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it. Preceding others in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns and existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it.
You need to understand how magical this, something like this every Wednesday can become. So you need to start getting your calendar right, get your schedule right. You need to know our intention straight out.
All right, so, these clues are given throughout the various languages was to piece the puzzle of this ancient mystery school back together again.
And what we plan on doing, both of us, is bringing y'all some surefire dynamite. We're going to take this level up a notch. We're going to have stuff to do here. This is not just going to be about philosophies and theories, shit that works.
You have an activated pineal gland in which that produced this black chemical called melanin.
What we did was gave a hard line in the sand between the different definitions of esoteric study and exoteric study. Playtime is over.
I don't need to be a dope boy, my poetry is dope enough. Trapping interstellar while my third eye open up. See through all the lies that y'all telling with a straight face. Return of the luminous ones. Y'all better make way to find a chapter. Find a collapse on all you politicians. They politicking how to lead a world about the pissing. The way I think is more deep and in the Grand Canyon. I guarantee this black man would be the man standing. My premonition matched the OMAC calendar. It's always accurate like a lightweight challenger. For all you wicked witches and the Wizard of Oz, you and that man behind the curtain, yeah, y'all fixing to fall. Only a matter of time before shit hit the fan. Here's an idiot's guide for you on how to get a man. I don't need a bunch of homers to ride or die with me. I can call on Hey Roo to fly the skies with me. Going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus piece back to the Pope. Came back for angel times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus piece back to the Pope. Came back for angel times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. When I'm riding on this city streets, never really miss a beat. To the point of no return, unless I turn another cheek. Catch me on my daily vibe, smooth as I wanna be. Just being me, never chilling with the wannabes. God in the flesh, dated bad sister lectures. Because my history is more than they can understand it. My melanated skin, starburst from the astro. I'm made of dark energy created from black holes. No thyself, the only one you can lean on. I got some school books that y'all can break y'all weed on. Our here's Martin Luther King and slave ships. But what about the underwater cities and spaceships? My mystical mind covering. But if the old mat tip will fly away like a mothership, we're African people, we're the real Anunnaki, wearing feathers on their heads just a few feet taller than me. Through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my ankh and gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my ancient times and bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned since birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my ankh and gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my ancient times and bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned since birth. Yo, don't look at me the same, I ain't nothing like I used to be. Upgraded daily through the lies and all the foolery. My dream became lucid, I travel back in time, collecting life data for my subconscious mind. That Father let me know that anything is possible by pulling down the universe through my crown chakra. Manipulate the energy is all an illusion. Knowing who you are kills all the confusion. Why 85% judge off my appearance? I use alchemy to create the word potential. My lyrics turn divas right back at the queens. Why dope boys are think twice appearing back of the scene. Everybody gone mad, blaming media outlet. The new black Hollywood chosen straight out the project. Global agenda war sucking up to the master. While the whole community going up in disaster. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my ankh and gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my ancient times and bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned since birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my ankh and gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my ancient times and bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned since birth.
All around the production.
Really say this the gift and the message. My music is a weapon when I use it on the reckless. Spaceship hovering throughout the whole region. Open up the sky and take the shortcut to Venus. Getting on my level, it's a hard pill to swallow. Like comparing your religion to it if the earth is hollow. No need to cry there and let it soak in your tomorrows. Let my music soak up all your bittersweet and sorrows. See the sun shining, I lay back and kick it. Staying sucker free is my new way of living. One day we get together, then we all start building. But the ball that I dribble got me posting like Pippin. Champagne glasses round my organite pyramid. Glazing at the stars, show the kids where we really live. These solar flares got my DNA 12 stranded. Collect the kill trends and feed it to the man spring. Wash the tall moors. Some of us we been here to reunite the others and cool the world with wind chills. I put rap to the back for a good reason. 2012, 21 was a good season. Fake people get exposed just for who they are. Keep playing traffic in the highway with moving cars. My flow bring the fear of God to the modern rappers. They crawling backwards, kicking men and chest a heart attack. Ever since the kid went galactic, my center bracket reached the top and interacted with my solar status. The microphone to grab it, I guess it's just a habit. A living legend in your presence, sorta like the Mavericks. It ain't about me, nah, but it's about the future. A golden race is on and dealing with the cockadoodles. I'm talking to you like a grandma and your mama used to. The final stage I ride away just like it's Honolulu. I prove my old school, but since I stayed there, galactic conscious awareness, I got my grades there. See with the eye of Hebrew, no longer bending knees. My inner chief surrender me when it's time to leave. This modern day crap, I don't even follow it. I'd rather symbolize my name up in the hieroglyphs. Declare peace without Battlestar Galactica. Footstepping backwards on my way back to Africa. To wash the tall moors. Some of us we been here to reunite the others to cool the world with wind chills. I put rap to the back for a good reason. 2012, 21 was a good season. Fake people get exposed just for who they are. Keep playing traffic in the highway with moving cars. My flow bring the fear of God to the modern rappers. They crawling backwards, kicking men and chest a heart attack and wash the tall moors. Some of us we been here to reunite the others to cool the world with wind chills. I put rap to the back for a good reason. 2012, 21 was a good season. Fake people get exposed just for who they are. Keep playing traffic in the highway with moving cars. My flow bring the fear of God to the modern rappers. They crawling backwards, kicking men and chest a heart attack.
Peace, peace, peace. Back once again with your host, Dr. El-Bey of the First World Radio. You're going to be going in tonight on the Melanin Conference. Let me bring my co-host on, Brother L. Fahim, are you here?
Washington East.
All right. Hey, Tate Washington East. How you doing tonight?
Doing well, God. Well.
That's good, God? That's good. Right. Yeah, we're going to get into the Melanin Conference, and basically what we're going to be talking about, for those who got a chance to watch, I guess the video from Brother King Simon, he put together months ago. It was myself, Brother Kaba, Brother Dr. Layla Africa, his wife, and KT, the Arch Degree. We was on a panel discussion, Melanin Conference. What we did was parlay that into the Melanin Conference here on our land, all right? In which that we invite everybody to come down to. That's this coming weekend, September the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So those that ready to come, get yourselves ready. We're going to be going into some deep discussions. We have Brother Elohi, El-Bey, who's Sifu, and he'll probably be going into Qigong, Tai Chi, as well as also Shaolin martial arts, Bakwa, and different other martial arts styles. He knows the mechanics behind a lot of those particular arts. And what I mean by mechanics, I'm talking about martial arts application. So, that's definitely going to be a treat as far as, learning the soft forms, what is called the yin forms, and then showing how to utilize the yin forms as yang, which is hard. So, for those who are interested in that, definitely come. All right. We have myself, in which that will be going into herbology, herbalism. My wife will also help out on that end. We're going to give a little nature tour, in which that we will be going through certain herbs in which that you can use in order to heal right on the land. So when you see these particular plants or flowers, you can utilize the stem, the flowers, the roots, the leaves, etc., etc. We're going to be going into that type of information. There's many herbalists that are out. And we're going to be dealing with decoctions, and that's basically how to make teas of the roots and bark. We're going to be dealing with learning how to do extracts, also how you can use glycerin, alcohol, water, even vodka or brandy, apple cider vinegar, etc., as the base. Within which that you can, put the herb powders in which that becomes soluble, and keep it for about a week or two. Some even longer if you want more potency. We're going to be going into infusions in which that you can take the leaves and the blossoms. I even use, like powdered herbs, of course. And then cover and, let it steep, boil for about 10 minutes or so in order to create, particular herbs or teas, herbal teas. Even, oil of herbs, extract of herbs and oil base. We can also speak on extracting the oil from the mixture. So you would take, the powder herbs or even fresh herbs, the leaves, etc. Put in the oil base, and let it once again steep or sit for 2 weeks to a month. All right. So we're going to be getting into how to do these particular things for those that's interested, as well as also fermentation, in which that basically you get a cloth, use the hot infusion or the decoction oil applied to the affected area. This usually not as effective as a poultice, but of course you can utilize it just the same. Now, when you do a poultice, essentially, you make it moist, hot herb pack, and you're going to apply it to a local area. And you can use the fresh herbs, crushed or bruised. And the powder herbs also can be used. You can mix it with mineral water or some other liquid to form a thick paste. And you can put this, spread it out on a clean cloth and cover the affected area and leave it on for several hours. And basically always use the fresh poultice, never reheat it, et cetera, et cetera. You can also learn how to use tinctures, in which that is the extraction of the herbs in some type of vinegar or alcohol. Apple cider vinegar is all right for most herbal tinctures, but you can also use Everclear brand, 190 proof alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, it can be utilized in order to form a tincture. So you're going to be learning about all these types of things and what each particular herb can do. All right? So those who's interested, come September 18th, 19th, and 20th, this coming weekend. All right? So we will be discussing that, my wife and I, as well as also she'll get into economics, as well as how to form your own business, your own website, your own clinic, essentially. We're going to put that together, and I'm teaching people how to do that. We also will be Sister Naya, who's a master teacher in Kemetic Reiki. She'll be here, and she will be going over Kemetic Reiki. I myself will be going over Ushi Reiki, Tibetan Reiki, Kundalini Reiki, and we'll be getting it in. So we have a lot, to go over. And of course, there's going to be metaphysics and esoteric teachings and answering any questions in which that you have, So that is the gist of the Melanin Conference, holistic health, dealing with not just holistic health, but dealing with the energy modalities, dealing with even irisology, reflexology, acupressure, which is the pressure points of the body, the chakras, the aura, the meridians, the nodes or the nadis. We're going to be going in, seriously. So for those that's interested, once again, September the 18th, 19th, and 20th, you can go to the website, www.dralim.el-bey.com, and go to particular section is up-and-coming events. Up-and-coming events. All right. So once again, www.dralim.el-bey.com. That's DRALIMELBEY.com. And this section is upcoming events. All right. So check us out there. That give you the address or the location, as we say. That also would give you the hotels. That's an area for those that want to stay on the land. Y'all can give us a call at 910-364-9099. We have some arrangements as far as the staying areas here on the land. We also have tents in which that can be set up. You can also bring your own tent For those that want to know if you can bring your children, of course, it's a family affair. Bring your children. All right. It's $150 per person. Children. Right, the children are half price, $75. So definitely come, bring them. This is an event in which that is going to be able to lift their spirits, as they will be also taught and trained in these particular martial arts, and well as energy modalities and beyond. All right. We can also get into numerology as well as also astrology. All right. And for those born after, I think, 1997 in particular, we'll speak on Officius and how Officius comes into play in between Scorpio and Sagittarius as the serpent wrestler, as well as also Imhotep, in which that is who Officius actually is Imhotep, coming from who actually is the only one from out the zodiac in which that actually lived or existed. All right, and the reason why he symbolized that is because he came up with the medical symbol of the caduceus, in which that is on the various hospitals throughout the world and clinics. Dynasty. And he had the position of the prime visor, which would be equivalent to what we refer to nowadays as the Pope. And the only one who was higher than him was Djoser, who was the pharaoh or the Nagu at that particular time period. All right, so we'll be going also into history, heritage, lineage, Native American affairs, indigenous-ship, and showing how all of that ties into shamanism. All right, so definitely come and check us out. That's this weekend, September the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Check us out. You know, Brother El, you got anything you want to add to that?
Only what you just said. Just if they come out and check them out, you know, I won't be able to come.
Right.
But one of these times I will. You know,
all right.
These days I will be down there. That
all
is
right.
a promise.
Sound good. Oh yeah. Sound good, brother. Can't wait to see you. You know, in person.
Can't see you either.
Right. And we can, you know, get it in. You know, build.
Right. Got a brother here now working on my computers, you know, so I can send you some email, you know, so you can email me as well.
Yeah. No, right.
No information. I'm missing out a lot, you know. So.
Oh yeah, you're missing out a lot. You're missing out a whole lot.
He's in there working on it right now, brother.
Right,
here.
Right.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay. But that's what I was telling you before. It's time for you to get on up into the computer age here a little bit, so you can, you know, get some things out there. You know, especially since you like writing. You know, you can start doing your blogs and everything, and put that online, and you know, enlighten people that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still working on the deciphering the circle 7 and the number 7 as it relates to wars. I'm still I'm on page 13 now.
Okay, see.
13 page. You told me to keep going, don't stop. So I'm keep going on with it until there's nothing else to write on, and I send it down there to you.
Okay. And see that's actually like a little small book. Start doing montage and Roz, you know, start making them little small books for them.
Well, that's my aim.
Right.
That's my aim.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of more like be interested in, like to see that number 7 and the circle 7 broken down. You know, I didn't never know so much to it. You know, till I started writing on it and deciphering it. You know, but I believe they're gonna love it when I get through.
Yeah, I think they are. I don't see why not. You know, the information is some of the most profound, you know, information right now, you know, in their heritage and lineage, you know, and even their nationality and birth rate.
Right. when I get through with the number 7 and the circle 7, I'll be writing on the history and the nationality and birthright also.
Right.
Different, dealing with different religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. I'm also be getting into that too, you know. So there's a lot of other things on subjects I'll be writing on. But as soon as I get through with this number 7 and circle 7 here.
Right. Well, that sounds real good. You know, people need that. You know, and even more so, you know, also what they need is the mastery of these energy modalities. You know, we're dealing with Ushi Reiki, Tibetan Reiki, Kemetic Reiki, Kundalini Reiki. And when you're talking about Ushi Reiki, which is the original form of Reiki in the sense of the modern day or refound or rediscovered form in which that came from Mikao Ushi, who was a Japanese healer. It is said that he went into the mountains and for 21 days meditated, fasted, and over that time he acquired his information of healing, you know. But we also know that the mountain also symbolizes, you know, like the Tibetans who live in the mountains. You know, this is where they have their libraries at, or their information on which that they utilize in order to bring, you know, certain amounts of information to the world. Well, Mikao Ushi did the same thing, in which that allegedly went to a particular monastery and learned of these particular information from a Buddhist monastery, in which that they was no longer using the information, and he started utilizing the information from what he read, and found that after the 21 days he was able to empower himself and also transmit and channel this prana or chi or ki energy through his body and heal others. So as he came down off the mountain, there was people who was dis-ease, had ailments, sicknesses, and he began to start healing them. All right? He set up particular schools of thoughts in which that he passed this information down in a lineage. All right? So in Ushi Reiki, normally you will prove that you are from the lineage of Mikao Ushi. All right? And that goes for the formation of the Tibetan Reiki, or the Ushi Tibetan Reiki, as well as also the Kemetic Reiki, in which that actually would be before Mikao Ushi, being that you would use the various symbols of the ancient Kemet, the Waz, the Uraeus, which is now within the Greek called the Caduceus, the Ankh, you know, and these various symbols are utilized, all right, which are these symbols existed prior to the symbols in which that Master Mikao Ushi utilized, in which that is the Choku Rei symbol, the Seihei Ki, the Hushishi Shonen Dekomeo. Now, these symbols, and I won't say that the Kemetic or the Tamarian or the Kemetic symbols per se existed before. Let's just say it this way, is that these are the symbols in which that came to him, or which that was written already in the writings of the Buddhist monastery monks. The Buddhist monks had these particular symbols in which that they no longer use. As far as they was concerned, they already reached the level beyond healing, in which that to them they didn't deal in low magic, all right? They dealt with high magic, in which that Low magic is when you are trying to send a frequency in order to jam another frequency or override another frequency. That's what low magic is about. All right. Like if you're feeling some type of negativity around you, all right. You're having these strange Kundalini symptoms like spasms, aches, pains from out of nowhere in particular areas. You can't formulate your thoughts properly or speak clearly or eloquently. You can't think. You know, your mind or brain is foggy. You know, you have migraines, headaches. You have all these different types of ailments out of nowhere. Then oftentimes you're being psychically attacked. All right? And so low magic is used in order to stop those particular attacks. All right? As far as the Buddhist monks was concerned, they no longer had to deal with that because the duality was no longer within them. All right? And what I mean by duality, I'm talking about the duality of the lower self and the higher self. They did not play those games as far as having a battle between the lower self and the higher self. There was only one self as far as they was concerned, and therefore the lower self was merged into the higher self, and thus producing the one self, which is the awoken or the awakened soul, in which that is Heru, hence the all-seeing eye, in which that symbolizes the pineal gland where the soul is embedded inside of, in which that give the individual the ability to soul travel, soul projection, etc., etc. Once you have those type of capabilities, individuals who work low magic cannot touch you because they're not even vibing at infinite conscious level. They are down there towards interpersonal, intrapersonal life consciousness. They are in the four devils, as we would say, which is dealing in the four lowest chakras. So when you vibrate higher than those types of individuals, then they can't touch you in the things in which that they do. All right? So the Buddhists was already way above that level, all right, of having to deal with low magic. They dealt with high magic, in which that, as far as they was concerned, you don't have to do anything. All right? But when you utilize the prana or the chi or ki energy in which that is around you, it helps you get to that level. All right? In which that would be within your three higher bodies, which is your cool body, which is the glorified light body, your spiritual body, and your soul body, which is symbolic to the three higher chakras, which is the Father, the Mother, which is the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, as they call it, and the Son, all right, which is the Holy Trinity. So the three highest chakras symbolizes the Holy Trinity. The four lowest chakras symbolizes the four devils. All right, so you take those four devils, which is dealing with the attributes of lust, greed, jealousy, and envy, and you merge those attributes from negative to positive, all right, in which that now you're dealing with love, mercy, and right, in which that is within the 101. When you ask what is the mother of virtues, that is the reply, you know. So with understanding that, we overstand, you know, that we work with higher or high magic. All right, that is what working with prana or chi or ki energy gets you to. So hence you don't have to do sacrifices, in which that is spoken of within the Old Testament.
Right.
Animal sacrifices, even human sacrifices is not necessary, in which that many cultures still practice to this day, or cults or so-called secret societies still practice to this day. You know, Alex Jones, you know, claimed that the Bohemian Grove members do mockery or marked human sacrifices or do real sacrifices. All right? Human sacrifices, that is. So when you're looking at these types of secret societies, it gives you somewhat clarity on what not to do, in which that isn't necessary. And plus, with Qigong, Tai Chi, Aikido, different other martial arts, whether yin or yang, you are able to consolidate and concentrate and focus the energies into yourself to expand your life force when you store it within the lower dantian, to establish love, when you store it in the heart, to establish high intelligence, which is a high IQ, when you store it in the third eye. Okay? So, this is really a person who parents unknowingly or knowingly was able to store a lot of energy within the third eye. That child will come out highly intelligent, possibly a prodigy, based on the gifts in which that the parents have, or the grandparents, or the great-grandparents, or it goes 7 generations on the mother's side, 7 generations on the father's side. And that child can encapsulate all of those particular talents from each individual and become a Renaissance child or a prodigy child. Okay, so these are very important things in which that we would teach you how to encapsulate light, how to store light within your body into your dantians, your lower dantian, mid dantian, and upper dantian, which the Christians refer to in the book of Acts as the upper room. We will teach you how to store prana within these particular rooms, or storage vessels, or areas, or vortexes, as we would say, all right, in your vessel. Very important to learn, all right, because that type of magic, you will not need a human sacrifice or some type of other bizarre ritual, all right? Within Taoism and within Freemasonry and different other secret societies, is a known, Rosicrucians also, it's a known fact that older men would get children, young children, in order to lay with, in order to extract prana energy from the auric field, and still in their innocence. All right, or they will even do something even more devilish, and that is actually molestation would be involved. All right, and this is all in order to stay young. All right, now this is all talked about within the dark arts of these particular organizations. All right, at the higher levels, which appear to be higher levels, but really they're not, because if it was the higher level, then they would know that the same prana in which that is concentrated within that child is all around us the whole time. And they would simply have to move their body in order to tap into it and be conscious of it and know how to store it within the body, instead of having to do all these bizarre rituals, which oftentimes doesn't last, because the only thing they're doing is low magic. It's a temporary fix. But with Qigong, Tai Chi, pranic healing, which deals with Kundalini yoga, which deals with Tantra yoga, which deals with Kriya yoga, the left and the right hand path, you are able to stay young, stay vibrant, stay energized by simply moving your body and letting the air currents, which is the ether, the akasha, feed you. Letting the ground prana feed you that the environment feeds you, which is abundant, stellar energy, galactic energy, cosmic energy, feeds you, solar energy feeds you, as compared to feeding on something else in which that may not necessarily want you to feed on.
Right.
And this is what separates us from the animal kingdom, is that we have the ability, in order to make that decision on not to be a predator, and simply follow the will of God. And the God I'm talking about is the soul embedded inside of the pineal gland. Oftentimes referred to as the ego, or Adolabroth in its negative form. In its positive form, Melchizedek, or Michael, the head of the 7 archangels, which is the 7 Elohims.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nothing more than the awoken soul, which is the Heru, Christ consciousness, Melchizedek consciousness, eventually Metatron consciousness. And Metatron is a form of Enoch, which is a form of Tahuti, or Kehu, Tahuti, right? Maku, Sutek, Hermes Trismegistus. We have all these particular names for the same being. All right, Marduk, for another form of Heru, another form of Tahuti, which is Tammuz. All right, and this symbolizes the left and right eye of Ra, and Ra being Amen-Ra, in which that his name becomes Jupiter within the Latin, or Zeus within the Greek. That is Anu within the Sumerian text. Because Ra is also On, or On, which is Anu, which means up there, which is not just a reference to the sun up in the sky, but the Kundalini in your body going up there to its sky, which is the head, or the kingdom, or the dome piece, in order to illuminate the sleeping giant, or the Rip Van Winkle, which is the soul embedded inside the pineal gland, to awaken from its slumber, being a mental giant, the Nephilim. Okay, this is the metaphysical, esoteric meaning behind all of these stories in the Sumerian text, ancient Egyptian or Kemetic or Sumerian texts, etc., etc. All right, and this is the deepest meaning. Instead of just waiting for a Nibiru or a Neberu to come out the sky, it would be best to enlighten and illuminate the galactic cloud on which that sits over top of the pineal gland, which is shown within page 15 and neutralized by Dr. Layla Africa. Okay, so this is what we need to start doing, is analyzing what makes us perfected. Because many of us are striving for perfection, but what makes us perfected? What gives us that indestructible, that immortal body, what is called the glorified light body? What gives us that? And all of the ancients, whether it's the Buddhists, the yogi, the Buddhist monks, the yogi, the Tibetan monks, the Taoist monks, the Shinto monks, all of them basically say the same thing. They might have a little variations to do so. They'll use mudras, mantras. They use all these different tools in order to get them there. But essentially, it's the illumination within self, the awakening of the soul. and that is real soul saving once the soul is awakened. Now, we hear all this within Christianity, Islam, Judaism. We hear about the soul, which is called the Ruach within Hebrew. All right, we hear about it. We hear about the spirit, which is the Nephesh or Neph. We hear about it, but many can't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even know where it is. They know it's somewhere in the body based on the scriptures, but don't know where it is. But see, the thing is that when you read particular verses such as God do not dwell in temples made by man's hands, and then 1 Corinthians 3:16 where it says, do you not know that your body is the temple of God? Then you would begin to start understanding the real science behind the Gnostic scripts.
Yes.
Where it states particularly about the story of this Jesus the Christ. Jesus symbolizes the flesh, or Yeshua. Shu symbolizes the personification of air, which is the push and pull, the Ya and the Wei, in which that symbolizes the yin and the yang, which is the symbolic to the centrifugal and centripetal force, the push and pull. These two forces is what holds your physical composition together. So your breath holds your physical composition together. This is why when you stop breathing, you decompose. All right. So this is what all these stories are really relaying if you go back and really analyze them. All right. There's people out here who saying that the ancient Egyptian writings have not been decoded. They can no one can speak Kemetic language or the Metru Neter, and that's not true. That's not necessarily true. All right. We know the Rosetta Stone, and that on the Rosetta Stone they was able to get the proper translations from studying Phoenician, which is Old Hebrew. Aramaic is Phoenician. And from studying the Phoenician, they was able to see how the Greek correlated as well as also how the Metru Neter correlated. And based on those correlations, they was able to finally put it into some type of writing. E.A. Wallace Butch didn't have the best translation. However, many of the so-called Egyptologists or Kemetologists utilize some of his translations because some of them was very good, not all of them. All right. So you have individuals like Muata Ashby, who wrote a book on how to speak or how to write the Metru Neter. You have Infudishi, Brother Infudishi, who also teaches how to translate the Metru Neter. All right. These are individuals who's living amongst us right now, in which that can help. I myself also speak as well as also write the Metru Neter. So this is something in which that we have to get back to, as it seems that the Metru Neter is the beginning stages of the Hamitic and the Shemitic dialects. That's of Arabic, which comes from the Meridic script, in particular the Hieratic script, as well as you can see that, as well as also Hebrew. Hebrew and Arabic are dialects. The word shalom and the word salam is the same word, in which that means peace. So a Muslim will say assalamu alaikum, but they will understand what a Hebrew is saying, shalom alaikum. And there's many hundreds and thousands of words in which that correlates in the exact same way. And any linguist will tell you this. as they study the word phonics, in which that is phonetics, in which that both words stems from the word Phoenician, as well as the word phoenix, which is the Bennu bird, which is the bird on the back of the dollar bill, which that symbolizes the eagle.
All right.
All right, but the word Phoenician is the root of the word phonics and of phonetics. So when you even study in that, understand that it comes from the Canaanite tribe referred to as the Phoenicians. And the reason why this symbol was the phoenix or the Bennu bird is because they were striving for perfection or enlightenment, inner peace. All right, we know the Phoenicians becomes the Moabites or the El-Moavid. Okay, understand what's going on here. Very important that we do.
Yes.
We have a lot of confusion that's taking place. And the reason why is because there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation that is on the internet. And it's done purposely in order to keep us divided as we come more so into consciousness or awareness. Consciousness actually is within the head or the brain, and awareness is actually throughout the body, in particular in the abdominal brain, which is the small and large intestines, ascending and descending colon, stomach region. Now, this is when you feel the butterflies in your tummy, as they would say.
Right.
And that is your instincts. Your intuition is in your mind, which is your brain. All right? So your instincts is bodily awareness. Your intuition is consciousness, a higher or an advanced form of consciousness. This is when you illuminate the 12 pericranial nerves in the brain, in which that sits around the pineal gland, in which that give you higher sensory perception or ESP. So instincts is the lower form of the lower self of the intuition, which is the higher self, which is the higher form. But both forms can be utilized at any given time. So we have to master the lower magic as well as low magic as well as also high magic, essentially. But we want to be more so within the high magic reality or apparent reality or realm. Okay? Brother, you want anything you want to build on as far as what I'm talking about here?
Yes. Dealing with the low magic and the higher magic, does also correlates to the white magic as the higher magic, and the black arts, as they would say, or the black magic as correlates to the low magic.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's normally how they say that.
Yes.
Of course, those of course, everything black has been demified. So
yeah.
You have those who have switched it, just like we switch bad to mean good.
Yeah.
Okay. We switch black now to mean good. So we understand that blackness is talking about triple stage blackness or triple state of blackness or of darkness, in which that is talking about within the child, as the child is being formed through the 3 trimester periods, it goes through the 3 veils,
right,
in which that symbolizes the last veil is the amniotic veil, in which that when a child is born with that veil, it is said that that child has the gift of prophecy, to see the future, to be a medium.
So I was right all the time.
Right. That is what it's meant by this veil is placed over the face. So they had to peel this last veil back. Now, go ahead, Brother Al. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was, I was the instructor at the School of Instruction at the Prince Hall Masonic Grand Lodge, and I was explaining that they would say, where whence came you? They would say, from the Temple of Holy St. John's. But I would say it in a more Kemetic and more term. Actually, what I would say is where whence came you, and my answer would be from the womb of triple darkness.
Exactly.
Because the womb of triple darkness is whence we came.
Right. Because St. John, was baptized was the baptizer. So he used water. Well, where's water? Is within, the woman's, they say that her water breaks.
Go ahead.
So actually the woman baptizes the child. If that's what you want to say, really. So the woman is the baptizer. So St. John would be actually illustrated as a female or feminine principle, as she's the baptizer, with water, because man is made in the image and after the, likeness of God. Well, if the woman is God, then, and she made man in her image and after her likeness, then that was made in water. Hence the reason why our physical bodies is 3/4 water or 75% water. Hence the reason why the brain is over 90% water. Our spinal column is over 85% water. Our liver is over 82% water. Our most dense portion of our body, which is our bone structure, is over 25% water. So we are an aquatic being. Hence we all are John the Baptist, the baptizer.
Yes, a brother was, I had my uncle on one day, and a brother was trying to refer to my uncle, and he was asking me, did I know what that meant? I said, yeah, I know something about it. And he said, what do it mean? I said, it means to create life. So then he said, well, and then it represents, the matriarch, Then he was trying to tell me, well, that's not all it means. So I said, well, okay, brother, break it down to me. I can always stand to use some new knowledge,
Exactly.
So he's talking about the two wings of the ark. So the wing represents the testicles, and the long, the phallus. And my reply to him, I said, well, not originally, brother, because what you're talking about came from European patriarchal influence.
Right.
Originally, it means the
uterus.
The circle actually means the uterus, the ovaries of the woman, and the two. What you talking about, cross? That means the fallopian tubes.
Right.
And what you're talking about, the phallus, actually originally means the birth canal. So they was kind of took back by that, because most brothers, especially brothers, and some sisters too, are not ready to tell that. They're not ready for you to say to them that it was all of this was under a matriarchal system at one time.
Right. Well, I mean, it's real simple too, Brother L. When we look at the compass in the square, who's the measurer? Who's the architect of the great architect of the universe?
The matriarch.
Woman. Right. Because that compass in square is the Vesica Pisces, which is the vagina. And the G that is being brought forth, geometry, is talking about man being based on pi, the number pi, or the golden ratio mean, which is the two higher numbers within mathematics, in which that the human body is actually structured on, as well as every temple in which that was designed, and well as every pyramid and mound that was designed is based on pi. And the golden ratio mean. Right.
There you have it.
So the human body is measured in the womb for perfection. That's the G. Is geometry. But what that compass and square is the vagina, in which that the G come out of. or go in of, which is your genes. And what is the magic stick for that? Is the phallus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which genes come out of. Genes is what determine the male and the female, your DNA.
Exactly.
You know, so we have to start taking this to another level here of people understanding what's really going on planet Earth, because right now, like I stated, there's a lot of confusion, and we're not here to bring confusion. We're here to bring the truth.
Exactly. You know, like you were stating about the hieroglyphics or the medunetters, as our ancient forefathers would say. There were some scholars that would say that the medunetters was never deciphered or could never broken down, you know, to English. But that's like you said before, that's not necessarily true, because when you say the term, use the term of the Kemetic term, nuk panuk, meaning I am that I am.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I think I wrote that in one of my articles that I wrote to you. I sent to you the nuk panuk, and that is a Kemetic term.
It is.
That is what they call a hieroglyphic term. You know.
Right. In which that in Hebrew becomes Iya Asher Iya. And who's Asher?
Ooh, come on with it. Yeah.
Asher is also. So when God is saying, I am that which that I am, God is saying, I am also. And who is also? Iya Asher Iya. Iya Asher Iya. Asher is also. And also, which becomes Osiris, is the one who sees, which is actually the all-eye seeing, or the all-seeing eye, which is the pineal gland. So also is the sleeping soul, which awaits for its bride to come into heaven and to awaken him as being the bridegroom. And from that divine merger in heaven between Kundalini, and which is all Sept, and the pineal gland, the divine soul, which is all Saw, comes forth the birth of that Christ consciousness, which is Heru. Okay.
Right.
And So, we really have to take it to these levels. You know, people have to know the truth. They have to know that the process that we're talking about is not just an external process, you know, or based on astrology or astronomy or cosmology, but is more the internal process that I'm looking for, you know, and its correlation to the internal functioning of the body. Because everything that's outside of you is inside of you. Okay? So, remember, as above, so below, as within, so without. Man is the microcosm of the macrocosm.
Exactly.
You know, the universe in miniature form. I mean, how many ways do the ancients have to say it?
You know, like you were saying, like the God, or you can say, for instance, you can use church, and you can say most people, the so-called Christians, never really been to church.
No, because church is, like you said, the temple. The body is the temple of God.
You know,
so the body is the temple of God. What is the churches? Is the chakras.
Exactly. We always talk about, I think you and I in Panic one night always talking about people always go outside of themselves.
Right.
Instead of seeking the Christ or the God within. You know?
Exactly. See, really what it is, Brother Alim, I believe that they scatter themselves. We've been taught to have self-hatred, no self-love, no self-worth, no self-esteem. So the last thing someone with those issues want to hear is that you have to look at yourself, look within yourself. Why would they do that? Why would they want to do that if they have no self-love, and no self-worth, no self-esteem? Why would they want to look at themselves?
Right.
You know, so the first issue to get over, you know, even coming from psychology or sociology, is that behavior, is that thought process, you know, of thinking that you're not worthy. And that's the same concept in which that takes place within Christianity when they sing those type of songs about the wretched, how that song goes, Brother L. I'm lost but now found.
Look, I'm talking about what song you talking about?
Was that Grace? What was the name of it?
Oh, Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace. And they say the what is that? The wretched. How they say that, Brother L?
The wretched
something. Right.
I don't.
It's in the chorus.
In the chorus. I'm not sure. Not sure I remember.
Save a wretch. You know how they say, save a wretch like me.
Oh, okay, like me. Okay.
Right. So it's based. So even hearing that song, you come to understand that you're a wretch. In other words, you're a fuck up. So you, how can you, being a fuck up, how can you have self-worth, self-love?
Right.
How are you going to gather that if you got songs in which that says that you're a fuck up, that you're a wretch, and then try to pass that shit off to someone else saying a wretch like me,
You're fucked up like me.
Right, exactly. Say, yo, you just as fucked up as me. Exactly. That's exactly what they saying, Brother Al.
Oh, man, in bad shape.
Yeah, exactly. So now you in bad shape, right? And someone comes along and say, God is in you. Even though they're hacking and coughing, they telling you that God is within you, but you're not going to get that.
No,
because you got the choir. Because right after he says God is within you, and you got the choir saying a wretch like me right behind him. So now the mentality is confused. The mental is confused.
That's why they so jacked up at church.
Yeah. Yeah. So now they confused. You know, I would be.
Oh yeah.
The preacher's been saying God is within me. You read in 1 Corinthians 3:16 that the body is the temple of God, and then all of a sudden, you got to save a wretch like me.
Somebody said, "Oh no, that's a lie."
Exactly.
No,
hold up now.
Rich.
Right. So something's wrong. Something definitely wrong. All right. So I mean, this is just us clowning but analyzing this from a serious, way though, because this is the conflict in which that takes place between the higher self and lower self all the time until you actually merge the lower self with the higher self. Other than that, there's always a dualistic nature within the individual. They always have to play that right and wrong within themselves, that agreeable, disagreeable, that good and bad, that so they always have to play that, to and fro. It's like in the old cartoons where the angel pops up on the right shoulder, the devil pops up on the left shoulder, and then whispering within the ear of the individual. But within Islam, the whisper is called El-Kanas. They say the devil or shaitan is El-Kanas. So when they touch before they touch the Quran, they have to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan al-rajim. I seek refuge from Allah from Satan the cursed.
Go ahead.
This is what's going on. Then they have to go and do wudu to purify themselves, or as they doing wudu, before they touch the Quran and before they make prayer or salat, or dua or salat. So this is what's going on. So El-Kanas is the whisperer. So that's exactly what you see This is why they be salaming their angels. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. They speaking it to their right and left shoulder. You know, anybody else would be like, okay, nigga, what you looking at? Why are you talking to yourself, you know, over your shoulders? What the hell that mean? Why you turning to the left and turning to the right and turning to the left? What's going on? What's taking place? Well, they say they are salaming their angels. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Well, that's the same angels that I seen popping, the angels or the shaitan or the devil popping up on the cartoons. Well, actually, it's the right and left hemisphere of the brain in which that symbolizes Tahuti as the recorder. And the memories are stored within the medulla oblongata.
Left, right hemisphere of the brain.
Right, it's the left and right hemisphere of the brain. And there's two cerebellums and there's two cerebrums. So it's a dualistic even within your brain.
That you are battling with.
Right, exactly. That you're battling with. Masculine and feminine, yin and yang. And the unifier between the two is always come down to the same force, the holy breath. The holy breath is the unifier between the dualistic nature of man and woman.
That's why the Scottish Rite symbol, they have the two-headed phoenix bird or eagle.
Exactly.
Or pelican, whatever.
Yep. Exactly. Yep, and what's that? That's at the 32nd degree, isn't it, Brother L?
Yeah, 32nd. 32nd,
right,
33rd.
32nd. Right. And the 33rd, you got to get tapped into that degree, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. They got to want you up there. Yeah. That's the sovereign inspector general.
Yeah. Got it.
Or even in a position as the sovereign grand commander.
Right.
Yeah. So 32nd degree, you got the two double-headed eagle. Exactly. One is looking one way, one is looking the other. Exactly. But it's only at the 33rd that you become the sovereign, though, right?
Right.
So that's the prince of the sublime mysteries of the sublime, right? Of sublime prince.
The blind prince started at the 32nd.
The
blind prince of the royal secret.
The royal secrets, exactly, of the mysteries, exactly. So, at 33rd, that's when you become the sovereign. When no longer you have that dualistic, you went past that double-headed ego, that dualistic nature of oneself. Now you're sovereign.
Too bad most of them don't know what that really means.
Well, I mean, we telling them a little bit of it tonight, Brother Al.
I hope they listen.
Yeah, exactly. I hope so. If not, I hope they go back and listen. Before we continue on.
No.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Al.
I said, if not, they threw away a lot of so-called money.
Right. Yeah. You're right about that. But some don't care because the only thing they looking for the next fish fry from anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
They just want the companionship. They want the fellowship. They're not really interested in the real mysteries of life.
No, they're not.
They could care less.
Try to bring it
about history.
You.
Right. They care less about their true history, their true lineage, their true birthright. They care less about those types of things. But all right, we're gonna go to the phone line. Those that want to call in, 626-414-3535. That's 626-414-3535. 626-414-3535. We're gonna go to this song. This is My Joint, Burning Gates.
Yeah! South
Shaolin, the classified elements. We here now. So all you Fruit Loop, color candy, bright peanut butter and jelly, coon ass niggas, you best duck and run for cover. Yeah. Yo, into the triple gates, cross the fiery lakes, but witness to tortured souls and bled upon burning stakes. Ascend the cherubims, raising hell to reach heaven gates. Fire bombing cathedrals when I switch my car to stay. Regard to animal, from animal back to God. The thorny strews like WD parade to raise a nation that's indispensable, indivisible. Basic principle relate to digital outputs to outlooks. Temperatures rising as the sun of righteousness gets spiritual guidance in the lion's den. The phoenix arises, spitting balls for Mars to the belt for Ryan with the iron Tahuti. These faggot devils can't fool me. The fellas gave porn and digesting the pig's booty. The shit is the wickedness, lost in the wilderness. We're never at here to this. Go ahead and slit your wrist. The black god exists. What devils try to exit, leaving them planning crisis until destroyed by ISIS. In the pit of demons, I'm ancient Kemet dreaming, converting satanic chords with the beta semen. Sword swinging, decapitator, parable addicted, crystal wand mystic, keep it glowing drinks when I'm lifted. I'm Melchizedek, moving through 50 states, early transmogist with the gods I relate. Mental alchemist, watch love conquer hate. I am in a golden rays above my head's a figure 8. I'm Melchizedek, moving through 50 states, early transmogist with the gods I relate. Mental alchemist, watch love conquer hate. I am in a golden rays above my head's a figure 8. In a devil's head, severed on a dinner plate. Before the throne of God, all devils will meet the fate. Below the mason dicks, arises the future great. Imperial, ethereal, sound the trumpets through the stereo. Murders with mics, that's why I scratch off the cereal. We first creation, send you back to some minerals. South Shaolin, double MC is the abbot. More rich be the nation, black man's land, we gotta have it. Restore the throne, eradicate the savage. When disaster strikes, actual facts he can't manage. Or fools on deck, sink ships like Titanic. Spreading fear across the land, causing unjustified panic. Amongst the brain dead zombies, grab the spits of bandits while these wicked overseers collect residuals in their hammock. Corporate fruits forever remain rancid, poisonous to the mind, inflicting subconscious damage. I'm Melchizedek, moving through 50 states, early transmitters with the gods I relate. Mental alchemist, watch love conquer hate. I am in a golden rays above my head's a figure 8. I'm Melchizedek, moving through 50 states, early transmitters with the gods I relate. Mental alchemist, watch love conquer hate. I am in a golden rays above my head's a figure 8. Return of the ancient one, the Moorish Naga, the dragon rider, or breathing fire, generator, operator, destroyer, a self-lord and master, instructor, a Kama Sutra, practicing Tantra, a Kriya Yoga, a Kundalini, the resurrector, Shishuna, the eater, Pingala, awaken the 7 chakra, to come the avatar, Muhammad the conqueror, putting swords to your jugular, send you to the ether, the water, air, fire bender, the earth ruler, usher in a new era, in the saga, eyes fear and terror, eerie sounds of horror, reflection crack mirrors, minds made feeble, dreams crumble, the curse tremble, thieves in the temple, raise the mental, beyond the 4 devils, you whack motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Or you goddamn cool niggas out there, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to put that fucking rope around them goddamn throats, you know what I'm saying? Cause you didn't all this goddamn hip hop, that's why hip hop dead, motherfuckers.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to the topic. And of course the topic is the Melanin Conference, and we're just going over some of the things that we're going to be dealing with at this conference this coming weekend. And we've been going into quite a bit of information. Brother L, you want to share with them like a little summary or some of the things that might have struck you and that we might be going over?
Yes, like the language we talked about earlier, dealing with the Melanetters, or what they refer to as the hieroglyphics. Actually, they're still teaching on that, aren't they? The Moabite Washita tongue.
Yeah. Actually, yes, we do. We do speak a form of Mandinka, which is actually a form of the Metronetcher. in which that even Hebrew and Arabic are actually forms of the Metu Neter, also derived from the mother tongue or mother language. This is why classical Arabic is spoken of as being part of that mother tongue.
Yes, because I speak it when I speak to a brother. I may say, "Hey, Ha'ate Washita East, Isla Fahola Nasu." I may say Nasu Data Alim. What I'm actually saying is, may my spirit and your spirit to spring forward with the jaguar. And Isla Faholan, meaning how is your spirit, brother? Or how is your spirit, Brother Alim?
Sure.
That's actually what I be saying.
Right, right, exactly.
So as soon as I, get these computers together, I get on that class and learn more to be more efficient. More.
Excellent, no doubt.
Because that's being our national language. Every nation has to have a national language. So that should be for all of us, especially in the United Washita Dido Damandi Amur Empire nation, to learn this language. And it's imperative that we learn this language so we can pass it down to the next generations behind us and their generation and generations after them.
Exactly.
So that'd be our true national language. We can't say we do have a national language that we speak. We have a flag, which is the Constitution, which is the Constitution of the United States of America. So that is our Constitution. So a lot of people say that the Constitution comes from England, but that's a lie. We both know that's a lie. It was they got that off of the confederations of the Iroquois and the other so-called Native American Moor nations, tribal nations. That's what they pattern off of. But don't too many people know that. England. They talk of England having a constitution, but they do not have a written constitution unless they've written one recently.
Exactly.
And this is what
right.
a lot
and
of
the fact
people.
that they don't, and the fact that they didn't have a written constitution would mean that they couldn't have contributed to nothing and to no one as a nation.
No. How can they?
Right.
How can they contribute something that they didn't have themselves?
Exactly.
But a lot of people say, "Oh, that's the that's the white man's." No, that's not. It comes from our ancient foremothers and forefathers.
Right.
That's where that came from, and that's what the Europeans patterned off of. Because we laid the blueprint for them, the blueprint of civilization for them, and that's where they got their blueprint for civilization from our ancient foremothers and forefathers. And we got to, I guess we got to keep on repeating ourselves, by writing books and articles and on the blog talk shows and keep pounding in them in their head.
Right. Well, messiahs, prophets, apostles, they all come every generation in order to reawaken, masses of people. I mean, that's just something in which that all the so-called Holy Scripture speaks about. People be looking for just one, but even for those who do, who aren't as serious, they still plant seeds, within the minds of people, and which that helps, bring them to some type of self-knowledge.
Right.
We know that on all of the temples, throughout Egypt, Kemet, Tamer, or Tamaray, we see, know thyself.
Yes. What they call Delphi,
Right.
The temple of Delphi, know thyself. Like they say in the Rosicrucian teachings, which is Moorish teachings.
Right. Well, I mean, even within the movie Matrix, Sophia Stewart, or the Wachowski brothers, how they put the Oracle as Neo walked into the kitchen and began a conversation with the Oracle. She told him to look up, and above his head was written in Latin, "Know thyself."
That's deep.
You know, so the thing is that to become Neo, or the One, you must know yourself. The reason why he didn't know he was the One is because he didn't believe he was the One.
Right.
He didn't know himself.
That's something. Neo meaning neophyte.
All right, neophyte.
Initiate system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. He was a neophyte. He's a beginner in the information. You know, and remember it was three episodes, 3 movie episodes. So of course he was a neophyte. Hence, you know, when he told Mr. Smith he was, you know, a quote unquote, his name is Neo. That was in the first one. You know, the second one, of course, you know, that's into apprentice, as we would say. And he was into apprentice, being an apprentice. Who did he have to draft himself onto to learn the information? It was Morpheus.
More for us.
Right. Morpheus, more. You know, he had to draft himself onto a more. You know, in order to get information on how to become the One as a Neo, or as a neophyte. And then we see the second. Right. Then we see the second episode. He become a fellow craftsman. You know, he begins to start learning his craft. You know, now he can fly. Now he can fight 100 Smiths or more. You know, matter of fact, he began to start getting an inkling of being able to even demonstrate his gifts inside the Matrix. Within the Zion. He never was able to do that before. He was never able to demonstrate his gifts in Zion.
No.
You know, he was able only to do it in the Matrix, being plugged in. He began now to start being able to do it without being plugged in. So now the third one comes, and now he becomes a master mason. And in the third one, now he's able to do in all his gifts, the same gifts that he had in the Matrix, he's able to do the same gifts now, if he wanted to, in the Zion, without being plugged in.
So he became the mastery of himself.
Right. And to even show you, to take it even higher, he became the master of the machine, even in the machine world.
That's how elevated he became.
Right.
Evolved.
Right. And remember now, in part 2, he meets the great architect.
Yes, he does. Which was
who gives him instructions on how to become a master, and he's telling him that there was 6 before him.
He's a 7th one.
Or either he's the 6th one, as in, man was made on the 6th day. Adam was made on the 6th day.
Okay.
Which is symbolic to melanin, which is 666. The 6th element on the particle chart is really the 6 days that they're referring to in the Bible.
666. You got 18. 1 and 8 is 9.
Is 9,
which is number of a woman.
Right. Right. So now he's being born into his gifts in Zion. Zion symbolizes Mount Sinai. which is mentioned in the Bible. Zion means, once again, from an elevation. So, it would appears to be symbolic to the higher self. Hence mastery. So all these keys are in the movie, if you just pay attention, that they did it in a Masonic way from 3 degrees.
Right.
Hence, through each one, they basically took us through the particular degrees on how to know yourself.
Yeah. But, like you said, he went to go to a Moor to get the rest of the science. Well, he went to a Moor first, and Morpheus, a Moor, and which he was. The actor Lawrence Fishburne is a Moor.
Exactly, and he played a Moor in Othello.
Yes, he did. So it just made me wonder: does he really have? Does he really know anything about Moor science?
Right. He may.
No. There's a lot of some sisters and brothers in the Hollywood industry does know something about mysticism.
Right.
Some of them do. Some of them. It was like Denzel Washington in the movie. What was that movie? The Book of Eli.
Right.
And at the end of the movie, one brother explained to me. He said when they dressed him in all white, which means he was purified. When they before they buried him, that's what the all white symbolized. He shaved him and shaved his head, shaved his face, bathed him, and then put him in all white.
Right.
And it had a lot of symbolism to that,
That's how Muslims did Malcolm.
Right. Because they buried him in the Islamic fashion,
Right.
When they buried him. So the man that the man that was writing all the books that he bought, which was in Islam what they call a hadith.
Right.
It was a hadith, and with like they say, you can burn I don't know how many Qur'ans in one day and 2 or 3 more days that they'll be out again. But that's how knowledgeable these hadiths are.
Right.
So, yep. So, but anyway, but dealing with the, I said, and I wonder how many sisters and brothers, when they go to court, do they know that? I mean, not the court, but what I'm saying is dealing with I am that I am, and certain scholars said that it has never been broken down, but we just prove it tonight that it has been.
Right.
Because if it haven't, well, what I'm doing is saying nuke pa nuke. And what I'm doing is saying what nuke pa nuke means.
Right.
I am that I am. So what are they talking about?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So the metanetter, well, what the metanetter mean? It means the divine words of God.
Exactly.
The hieroglyphics is a Greek term for metanetters, but the original term is metanetter.
Mm-hmm.
And shows how they had. I was explaining a lot of things about the Ankh again. Back to the Ankh. You even reading some books, that certain scholars are right that they acknowledge that the vagina or the uterus, the ovaries of the woman of the female, they acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But the circle, that's what the circle means. They acknowledge that, but when they want to put the testicles as the cross,
right, and
the phallus as the long, elongated, pole, at the end of the Ankh.
Right.
I explained to them And I believe I'm right when I say it was due to European patriarchal influence.
Of course.
Because they couldn't stomach woman being giving the woman all that credit for that ankh. No, we don't give her the whole credit for that. Now that part is our balls. The other part is our dick. Well, that's the womb, but but then once someone break it down, to all is all matriarchal. The whole symbol, the ankh.
Right.
The uterus of the woman and the fallopian tubes, both of the cross, the fallopian tubes, and the birth canal.
Right. Exactly.
That's the organic meaning.
Right.
The Holy
and that can be proven by simply. Right. That can be proven by simply seeing a photograph of the uterus and seeing the ankh symbol right there.
Yeah, you can look at it.
Right.
Proof's in the pudding right there. As some people say.
Yep.
Trinity, they wanted to put, they knocked the Asiatic woman out and put the Holy Ghost there.
Mm-hmm.
Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Right.
No, it's Father, Mother, Son.
Right.
Father, Mother, Child.
Right.
That is the original Trinity.
That's right. Yep. All Sept and Hero.
Yeah.
Yep.
Haru, they said Haru, they don't know. But Haru, if you read in the book of by Hindu Kimi Kush, the Border Files, he was saying that that's where the word hero comes from, Haru.
Right.
But he brings the day. He was a hero. Hero saves the day.
Exactly.
And Sept, Sept was represented as the devil. The sun sets in the west.
Mm-hmm.
Everything started turning dark again. Call him the Prince of Darkness. It's the battle between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. Always talking about the battle between the higher and the lower self.
Exactly.
You had shed some new light when you're talking about the brain, the left and the left and right hemispheres of the brain, because they're in conflict, with each other.
Yeah.
The left being the weaker and the right being the stronger. That bring balance. And as you said, Muhammad Rasulullah, I can't say it exactly like you said it.
Right. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah ta'ala barakatuhu.
There you go.
Yeah, they turn it to the right and to the left, saying it.
Bring balance.
Talking right. They asking for mayat. You know what I'm saying? Really, to bring balance between the lower self and higher self, or the two fractions of the brain, to bring some type of unification. Mm-hmm.
Because the left can't be strong enough. The right can be strong for the left.
Right.
That be that's what you call true masonry.
Right.
You put a lot of your moral science into that, which is moral science right on the table. A lot of people talking about the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ by Levi, and what would you already get that from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ? I know he did, and I said he's just taking back what belonged to us anyway.
Exactly.
Levi took a lot of our that is our sacred science that Eliphas Levi wrote in the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ.
Yep.
So that's more science right on the table again.
Yep.
And the prophet knew it.
True indeed.
And so, well, we got any callers?
Let me see here. Those that want to call in, 626-414-3535. Once again, 626-414-3535 for those that want to call in. Those that got any questions, give us a call. We're talking about the Melanin Conference this weekend, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Friday we'll begin at 2 o'clock for the meet and greet until 10. We'll go over a summary of the activities and the agenda for the weekend. Saturday we'll start 10 in the morning, take some breaks, and go till approximately 8 to 10 that night. Then start again Sunday morning from 10 till 5 that evening. At 5, we'll call it the weekend over, and those that have had enough can continue on with their journey, go back home, or however they want to do so. But we will be doing initiations into Reiki 1, 2, and 3. We'll be talking about initiation to Tibetan Reiki, Ushi Reiki, Kemetic Reiki, as well as also Kundalini Reiki. Everyone will demonstrate within the pranic healing or pranayama, as well as also aspects of Kundalini Yoga, which is Kriya Yoga, Tantric Yoga. They will do activities dealing with Qigong and Tai Chi, Bakwa, etc., and different other Shaolin martial arts. So we're going to have a full 3 days. So just remember that those who's interested, give us a call at 910-364-9099. That's 910-364-9099. All right, for those that's interested, give us a call. All right?
Yeah. Dealing with the Bakwa, that's another, what they call in China, Chinese boxing.
Right.
Style.
Chinese boxing,
yes,
exactly.
The Shaolin style, one of the Shaolin styles. It's a lot of those has a lot of, which is more than science again on the table, I may add.
Right.
It's a lot of people when they say martial arts, when they say that they do a lot of punching and kicking, and but that's not real martial arts. The
right.
real martial arts is what you call inside the martial arts, what they call the internal arts.
True.
We deal a lot with healing.
Right.
And that's what you call really real martial arts. When you can really
right.
heal.
And that's what we'll be teaching this weekend, exactly. And you're right, Brother L. This is why acupressure, acupuncture, and all of that is based on is the energy points or grid areas, or pressure points within the human anatomy, human body. So by mastering it, you gain that enlightenment of where to strike. Even if you take your Qigong and make it Denmark, you know what I'm saying? You can take Denmark and hit certain areas in the body and actually paralyze or either kill the individual with a touch. It's called the touch of death, Denmark, the touch of death. So we was taught this. I myself and my wife was taught this along with the other students up on the Master Sanyata Saraswati. In our classes. He would have us doing the styles of Denmark. So let me go to the line. Line
Okay.
is 914. You're on the air.
Islam, greetings. Can you hear me?
Islam. Greetings. How you doing, brother?
Yes, brothers. You didn't say where this conference is going to be taking place at.
The conference is going to be here in North Carolina, on our land, 2188 White Oak Road, Kelly, North Carolina, 28448. And the address and everything is on the website, www.dralim.com. All those are invited. For those that want further information, they will go to the website, www.dralim.com, to up and coming events. Up and coming events is the page that they would click on to, and it has all the information as far as the hotels, so forth and so on.
All right, that's peace. And I also wanted to ask you, since you were speaking on acupressure and all of those sacred arts. I have a slight issue with my respiratory system. I think I have some mucus in my lungs. I know I got an overflux of mucus. What exercise and possibly what kind of herbs or
the herbs would be mullein, cayenne pepper. All right. Mullein is number one. Cayenne pepper will help with the transference of the mullein to the lungs. Exercises along with some garlic. Exercises would be essentially lift to the sky and carrying the moon, in which that you would lift your arms and bend backwards and stretch, towards the sky and different things like that, in order to help break up the mucus as you inhale, and then as you exhale, you will have your mouth open in order to eliminate any excess mucus through the vapors of your breath. As well as also eucalyptus is good. Spearmint, peppermint, along with the mullein, can also do wonders. As far as making it into a tea and drinking it.
Okay, now, you said something. I want to ask a question.
Say it again, brother?
Yeah, eucalyptus. They have these tinctures, and most of them are in, alcohol and things like that. Are there some other tinctures around that are in?
Glycerin. Glycerin. Apple cider vinegar, glycerin.
Okay. You have any of those things on your website, brother?
Yes, we have all these herbs on the website. And matter of fact, if you go to www.dralimelbey.com to the page Ancestral Herbs, you can actually read it on each one of the ones that I just made mention of, and you can go there and read up and do your research and study right there. We have the plants, how they look, as well as also what they do.
Okay.
That's appreciate you. Thank you, Rob.
I tell you, man, brother, listen to your programs and whatnot. You give so much information. If you don't have a pen and pencil in hand, if one does choose to press one, there's so much. It's just like being on 95, man, around rush hour, man. There's so many questions that run through your mind. None of them get to your mouth in time, man. So I'm just going to go to mute and just appreciate you both for what you do and salute you.
Appreciate you, God.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Rob.
Blessings.
All right, we got area code 336. Area code 336, you on the line.
Yes, I would like to know what is the best health remedies for blood pressure, natural remedies?
The best natural remedy is garlic, cayenne pepper, and hawthorn berry.
And would you take this?
Right, you would blend. Right, what you would do is blend them up, put them in capsules, or make it into a tea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
you drink
it would actually be
how many?
It would be 3-part hawthorn berry, 1 part garlic, 1 part cayenne pepper.
Okay, and you would drink this twice or 3 times a day?
Right.
Or as much as you want to?
Well, 2 to 4 times a day, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And you would do that for about 3 months. After that, your pressure should be around 120 over 70.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, Brother L. We just got a few more minutes here before we go. Anything you want to say in closing?
Okay, hope we did some. Well, I believe we did some good tonight.
Yeah. We normally do. And but even with doing good, it's amazing how people still be mad at you. The only thing we can chalk that up to is their jealousy and envy.
That's all it can be.
Right. But other than that, we still gonna keep doing what we do because
exactly.
As I think it was the White brothers said, ain't no stopping us now. You know what I mean?
That's right. Right.
So in closing, once again, Melanin Conference this weekend, 18th, 19th, and 20th. We will be going to a lot of the things that we spoke about here tonight on the show. So to see this live and personal, bring yourself, your family. Donation is $150, and come on down to the Melanin Conference, in which that we will be dealing with herbology, which is herbalism in this particular case, even irisology, reflexology, acupressure, qigong, tai chi, reiki, pranic healing. We will be going to Kundalini yoga, tantra, kriya yoga, etc., etc. Everything that we can actually do. All right, this is a doing conference, not just a lecture. Even though you will get lecturing or instructions, but this is more so a doing conference. So you will be doing quite a bit. So dress warm or dress loosely, because we will be getting in some of this work here. All right. Once again, thank you all for joining us on First Water Radio. Your host, Dr. El-Bey, co-host, Brother Fahim El. We love y'all. Keep listening in, and we out, y'all. Peace.
First World Order Radio, finally, we are on the air. No doubt. All right.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio.
We get on into some of that order consciousness tonight.
First World Order Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
We got to talk about what is taking place on the planet.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio. First, we need to let you know we're going to be doing more shows, giving out more information on Wednesdays. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we are now going to make this the hottest day of the week.
Proceeding levels in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns and existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it. Proceeding levels in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns and existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it.
You need to understand how magical this something like this every Wednesday can become. So you need to start getting your calendar right, get your schedule right. You need to know our intention straight out.
All right, so these clues are given throughout the various languages was to piece the puzzle of this ancient mystery school back together again.
And what we plan on doing, both of us, is bringing y'all some surefire dynamite. We're going to take this level up a notch. We're going to have stuff to do here. This is not just going to be about philosophies and theories, shit that works.
You have an activated pineal gland in which that produced this black chemical called melanin.
What we did was gave a hard line in the sand between the different definitions of esoteric study and exoteric study. Playtime is over.